Last night, we took a look back at Ligertown in Lava Hot Springs that left more than a dozen exotic cats dead 25 years ago. Tonight, KPVI News That Works For You journalist Cade Gardner tells us what happened in the days after those cats escaped the compound. We do have a warning to our viewers as this story shows video of dead animals.
In September 1995, authorities from multiple agencies killed nearly 20 exotic cats that escaped the Ligertown compound in Lava Hot Springs. Bannock County Sheriff Lauren Nielsen says it's something law enforcement worried about for years leading up to the incident.
We have one of those meetings where what if, and what are we going to do if something happens here, because there was some issue, their power was shut off and a few other things that were going on. They were having trouble maintaining.
After authorities no longer worried any more escaped cats posed a threat to the public, they turned their attention to the dozens of big cats and hybrid wolves in the compound. It was then they realized the full extent of the couple's inability to keep up with the animals' needs.
The poor animals, with their health, their teeth and stuff, they had not been eating a real good diet. They did not have a veterinarian come in there and check and see how they were doing. They were never meant to be somebody's pet.
It wasn't just the animals' health that alarmed authorities. The compound itself wasn't suited for housing large animals, nonetheless carnivores, which is something that stuck out to Chuck Hulls, who visited Ligertown as a teenager.
So the first thing that comes to mind, about visiting was the state of the fences. You're walking past bits of chicken wire and thinking there's not much between me and these animals.
And it wasn't just the state of the compound that left a lasting impression on the visitor.
I just remember pulling into the guy's driveway and he's standing there, scars all over his arm, fairly fresh, scabbed over, and thinking, who is this guy?
The condition of both the animals and the compound led authorities to charging Robert Fieber and Dottie Martin with over 100 misdemeanors. Idaho didn't have any felony animal abuse charges at the time.
Those are misdemeanors. Each is punishable by a fine not less than $100 no more than $5,000, or jail up to 6 months.
Most of the charges were dropped, and the couple never served any jail time. A reporter interviewed the two and asked why they objected to the charges. Fieber's response:
"You're criminals." That'd be trifling murder. Oh, hell no, they're not right. Okay, get out.
Martin's reaction was similar.
Explain.
Okay, turn that thing off now.
Authorities allowed the two to leave the state without the threat of extradition. Standing here at the site of Ligertown 25 years later, it's almost impossible to imagine that this could happen in such a pretty place. And if you look behind me, you'll see that there really are no traces of the compound left. And that's because at the time, authorities burnt the place to the ground.
6 feet of feces. And if you've ever been in cat urine and that's why they have cat boxes. The smell was horrendous.
County authorities worried about disease in the unsanitary compound. Waylon Reif bought the land where Ligertown once stood about 4 years ago, and traces of the past are still present.
There's a lot of bones. Every time you dig, you find bones,
A neighbor of the property and the sheriff both heard rumors that the couple moved back to Oregon. There is no evidence of where they moved to. And up until a month ago, Bannock County still had a warrant out for their arrest, which is now expired. 25 years later, the sheriff still has a wish for the couple.
Fiebers were brought to accountability, but unfortunately, with everything we went through, I don't think they ever were.
In Lava Hot Springs, I'm Cade Gardner for KPVI News That Works For You.
Now, the surviving hybrid wolves found a new home in Idaho while a California rescue took the surviving big cats. Sheriff Nielsen says there are rumors to this day that some cats escaped and had offspring with native cougars. He adds there's no reason to believe this, and the different agencies involved at Ligertown were sure that they found all the escaped cats.